The omnipotent Supreme Personality of Godhead enlivened Brahma and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. Brahma and the other enlightened Brahmanas, who know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are enlivened by the appearance of the Lord in many of his multi-incarnations. The appearance of the wonderful and gigantic incarnation of Vishnu as the mountain-like boar did not fill them with any kind of fear, although the Lord's resounding voice was tumultuous and echoed horribly in all directions, as an open threat to all demons who might challenge his omnipotency. The omnipotent Supreme Personality of Godhead enlivened the mind by the highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. So we heard yesterday from Tusko about the wonderful pastimes of the Lord, which are real fun for him and for the world. So in this Varaha incarnation, it's just like Shikha writes in the book. It's open threat, open challenge to all to all pseudo spiritual persons who don't accept God or accept God but not really as a person. So many people, when they hear these stories, well, first of all, Varaha, the way he appears, he appears from the nostril of Brahma, and then you can see he's looking around, he's looking at his devotees, he wants to see, he wants to reciprocate. So it's fun for him, and he wants to make sure that the devotees are also in tune. So he accepts this. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Okay.
It's online.
Something setting?
Hare Krishna. Can you hear this? Is it clear? It's clear. Okay. Anyway.
So the Lord appears in this wonderful form, and he wants to have fun, but he includes in his fun, his enjoyment, his devotees. And we know from the acharyas that Krishna is enjoying, he's the supreme enjoyer, but the devotees actually enjoy more than him. So who is the supreme enjoyer actually? There are these impious people who think that there is one ancient Greek philosopher, I think the name was Xenophon or something like that, one of these Ionians guys who left very strange ideas about life. So his idea was, I think it's called anthropomorphism. That means basically the idea that we came up with the concept of God by, no, it's the other way around. We are created in the image of God, okay? But because Tamaguna turns everything upside down, so Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Tamaguna means that we take the religion to be irreligion and the irreligion to be religion. So people in Tamaguna, they have opposite concepts of life. If you're in Rajas, then what's happening? Then for you, it doesn't matter. Religion or irreligion, you just want to enjoy. So sometimes you can be religious because it suits your sense gratification. But the tamasic people, they just, by their instinct, by their pushing of these modes, the mode of ignorance, they are helplessly controlled by, they always choose the irreligious way of thinking. So these persons, they think that we created God by our basically conditioned nature. Of course, they don't understand this. We created God in our image, and he gives examples like when you look the Egyptians' gods, they all look like Egyptians. If you look the Thracians, because these were the prominent people back in the day, they look like Thracians. If you look the Greek gods, they look like Greeks, etc. So here we have Varahadev, though, and we have who doesn't look like us, or we have Hayagriva, or we have Hansa Avatara, we have Nrsingadev. So this argument doesn't go very far. And another problem is why would first of all, how do you, because their idea is that look, you are weak people, you are religious people, because you just want to have solace in some creation of your imagination, okay? You don't have the courage and the strength to face the reality. What's the reality according to these people? We are thrown in this enormous, huge, monstrous universe, which is completely chaotic, and there is no any moral sense whatsoever. So everything is chance, everything is chaos. We come and we go, of course we suffer, and you cannot face this. So we have to come up with the idea that there is some sense, there is somebody, some benevolent person who actually created this, and then all will make sense at the end. But if this is true, first of all, how do you convince yourself about? So it's a strange idea. So you have to convince yourself that something exists that doesn't exist. How does it work exactly? Unless you're a crazy person, like. But anyway, even if we put this aside, but then why would we conceive a God who punishes us in hell? So that's an interesting argument. If the idea is that we just want to feel better about ourselves, yeah? We want to feel secure, why would you come up with God with the idea of hell? And this is everywhere, almost in all religious scriptures. Wouldn't it be better if we conceive a different idea of God without hellish suffering? And hell means, I mean, at least from what I can see, as far as I can tell, most of the people who believe in hell, of course, doesn't apply to us, the followers of the Vedic Dharma. This hellish punishment is eternal and without any idea of correcting the sinner. Okay, so basically God at one point, he gives up on you and he just decides to, I'm going to torture this soul forever in hell without any idea of bringing him up and improving his character. No. So why would you conceive such? First of all, this idea is evil, of course. It's not true, fortunately. So Varahadev is, I know, wonderful pastimes of the Lord. As Srila Prabhupada says, open threat to all demons who might challenge his omnipotency in all fields, in philosophy also. I remember in this reminded me about in this Madhva Sampradaya, when somebody takes sannyas, he's supposed to go in the village and challenge everybody, all the Mayavadis. Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If everybody has anything against, I'm ready to debate with him. Come forward. So in the same way, Krishna, often he challenges the demons in this way. And then, the next verse, because we're going to read also the next verse. When the great sages and thinkers who are residents of Janaloka, Tapaloka and Satyaloka heard the tumultuous voice of Lord Bor, which was the all-auspicious sound of the all-merciful, which was the all-auspicious sound of the all-merciful Lord, they chanted auspicious chants from the three Vedas. Purport. The word Maya is very significant in this verse. Maya means mercy, specific knowledge, and also illusion. Therefore, Lord Bor is everything. He is merciful, his own knowledge, and his illusion also. So, Janmadhyasya Krishna, Brahman, Supreme Brahman, he is the source of everything. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam pravartate. So Krishna is everything. He is merciful, his own knowledge comes from him, and his illusion also. How is he illusion? Why he has to be illusion? Illusion is something negative, like it's bad to be in illusion. Why he is illusion also? Yes? Based on our desires. Okay, yeah. Can you explain a little more? Well, it's true, just...
If you desire to enjoy separate from him, he has to be illusion, or you couldn't...
If you have desire to enjoy separately from him, he will fulfill your desire by putting you in illusion that you are separate from him. Yes, very nice. So, that means even if we want to be in illusion, still we cannot do this on our own. Krishna has to put us in illusion. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Manushya Partha Sarvashakha, Mama Vartmanu Vartante. There is only, everybody follows my path, there is only one path. But whether we will take the path and approach the Lord or turn the other direction, it's up to us. But still, even if we decide to be separate from the Lord, still we have to follow His path. There is Krishna's way to forget Him. And the result of this will be also given by Krishna. It's not up to us, because He is Swarat. He is independent and we are dependent on Him. The sound which he vibrated as the Bor incarnation was answered by the Vedic hymns of the great sages in the planets Janaloka, Tapaloka and Satyaloka. The highest intellectual and pious living entities live in those planets, and when they heard the extraordinary voice of the Bor, they could understand that the specific sound was vibrated by the Lord and no one else. No one else means Krishna is one without a second. There is nobody like him. Of course, there is somebody higher than him also. But she's not different from him. Therefore, they replied by praying to the Lord with Vedic hymns. The earth planet was submerged in the mire, but on hearing the sound of the Lord, the inhabitants of the higher planets were all jubilant because they knew that the Lord was there to deliver the earth. Therefore, Brahma and all other sages, such as Bhrigu, Brahma's older sons, and learned Brahmanas were enlivened, and they concertedly joined in praising the Lord with the transcendental vibrations of the Vedic hymns. The most important is the Brihan Naradiya Purana verse, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when the Lord appeared, the devotees were very happy. And the demons were, well, here, there is no description of the demons, but we'll hear about this later. The demons were not happy. They're afraid. They're scared. Of course, some demons are not scared because they have to fight with the Lord, and in this way they give him pleasure. So he gives them also courage to fight with him. But normally the demons are afraid. We see in 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita when Krishna reveals the universal form. We see the reactions. Arjuna describes the reactions of the different living entities. He says that the great sages, they offer prayers and they surrender to the Lord, and the demons, they run in all directions because they're afraid. Why would you be afraid of the Lord, who is the most attractive person, he has all opulence, and he's the ultimate beneficiary of all, he's the well-wisher of all living entities, our Father. Why would you be afraid? Because of this perverted, crooked mentality that you want to be the Lord. So if you want to be the Lord, then if you're claiming proprietorship on something that is not yours, the real proprietor, the real owner is the person that you really don't want to see. And this is also our position. Therefore, we don't see all the time Krishna because we don't want to see him. So we still have this, we're still battling with this desire to control and enjoy. And it's very deep, deeply rooted. So let's read a little bit more, the next verse. Playing like an elephant, he entered into the water after roaring again in reply to the Vedic prayers of the great devotees. The Lord is the object of the Vedic prayers, and thus he understood that the devotees' prayers were meant for him. So the devotees are praying when they see the Lord, and the demons are afraid, and they escape. In the same way, I was thinking the same way because the transcendental knowledge is not different from the Lord. When we deliver lecture, let's say, when we speak about Krishna, because there are two types of living entities, suras and asuras, demons and devotees, right? So demons, they never like to hear about the Lord. The dream of the asuras is to kill Krishna. Therefore, all of them, they try to kill the Lord. Now, we'll hear a little later how Hiranyaksha wanted to kill Varakadev, how Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna, how Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill Nrsimhadev. This is their dream, to get rid of the Lord and then to enjoy his property. So when we preach Krishna consciousness, then if we are faithful to our Guru Parampara, then when we deliver the message, then normally, especially when we're in a mixed out, when we preach only to the devotees, then only one reaction everybody appreciates, we hope. Of course, devotees also sometimes, they have different moods. But when we speak Bhagavatam, the message of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, then it's normal that there will be different reactions. If nobody's upset when we speak, then it means maybe we didn't deliver the goods properly. Maybe we were tiptoeing around. We didn't actually present properly Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, because we see what happens when Krishna appears. There is distinctly different reactions. Suras and asuras react in different way. So when the spiritual knowledge appears, if it's true, if it's bona fide, if it's chaste to our authorities, then normally some people will be upset. We cannot say anything serious without the risks of upsetting somebody. Somebody always will be unhappy about what you're saying. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada often he says, we don't want to please the public. We want to please Krishna. And of course, we try to present the knowledge in an appropriate way so that people will be attracted, but not at the expense of watering it down and presenting something else. Okay, thank you very much. Some comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu.
So you Hare Krishnas, you criticize the Christian concept because how can God be all merciful if He can condemn someone to hell forever?
Yes, we do actually.
But if you claim that God is all merciful, just look around you. Look at all the suffering and pain and difficulties people are put into just in this material world. So where is your all merciful God?
Yes, but our answer is that in the material world, in order to enjoy, to fulfill our goals, we are here to enjoy. We are stepping on the heads of so many living entities. So our demonic desires are causing pain to others, and even when we do ordinary activities like walking around or breathing or even pouring water or starting a fire, we kill so many living entities. Not to mention, most of the people, I don't know most, but I think most people are eating meat and committing so many atrocities unnecessarily. So the law in this material world is the law of justice, so they have to we have to face the consequences of our activities. So this has nothing to do with Lord being merciful. He is merciful, but at the same time, He wants to teach us lesson. And if we don't get the lesson by just hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, then we'll have to get the lesson by accepting the results of our activities. And this is also actually a sign of His mercy, because He's trying to, first of all, He purifies us, and He's trying to teach us that we should surrender to Him. Something like this. So what would you say, Prabhu?
I'm going to argue more. So, let's say you're a father and your 5-year-old son comes to you and says, Daddy, please put live in ammunition.
Maybe on the mic, because people don't hear online. So.
Is it working?
I don't know. Is it?
Is it working? Nobody wants to hear me. Christians are
Oh, it's working, Prabhu.
Speak louder. So your 5-year-old son comes to you and says, Daddy, load your automatic rifle with live ammunition. I want to go play with it. Okay, go play with it. What kind of father is that? So what kind of God is saying, okay, just go, go do this, and if you suffer,
I understand the point, but the thing is that we have free will, and Krishna doesn't want to interfere too much with this free will, because if we don't want to serve Him with love, then we have to come here, and He doesn't want to keep us in the spiritual world against our will. So it's valid analogy that you give, but if otherwise we will be forced to stay with the Lord, and we don't want Him. So why then? What to do? It's our choice. He's trying to prevent. He's trying to argue, to play.
Okay, now you're a father. You have 2 sons. one of your sons comes to you and said, look, Dad, this other son, he's a real idiot. I'm just going to kill him. And so your father, no, you shouldn't kill him. But no, I want to kill him. Okay, you have free will, go kill him.
Yeah.
That's not a good father. So using the excuse free will, then God lets us do all these things that cause suffering to others.
Okay, so you see the whole mood behind this argument is wrong. It's wrong because we are trying to blame somebody else for our own. We try to find the victim, and the victim. We are not guilty, so somebody else should. And who is to blame? Of course, God. He's like, because if He's at fault, then we are. So I mean, we can try to explain 1, 2, 3, but if we see that this argument comes again and again, that means it's not actually a doubt. It's a misgiving, and it's misgiving is more difficult to deal with. Doubt is just you saying 2 plus 2 is 4, so I don't understand how 2 plus 2 is 4. Could you please explain to me? Misgiving is, I very well understand that 2 plus 2 is 4, but I don't want it to be 4. So it's like a person who you wake him up in the morning in the Brahmacharya ashram for Mangal Arati, and you try to wake him up, but he doesn't wake up because he's already awakened, and you cannot wake him up. But he pretends that he's sleeping.
I very much appreciate your answer. May I add one little comment?
Yeah, please.
We understand that the fundamental pillar upon which spiritual life exists is that we're not these bodies. And therefore, even the vision that we're suffering in this world is ignoring this fundamental principle. And therefore, in one sense, we're only suffering because of our attachment. And therefore, to blame Krishna for our suffering ignores the fact that we're suffering because our own attachment, because we're, at least they tell me, that we're not these bodies.
Exactly, yeah. Very good point. And thank you, Prabhu. And in Bhagavatam, it is actually stated that these both of these concepts of conditioned life and liberation are both illusion, in a sense that we are always liberated. We are always part of Krishna. And these sufferings here are illusory. They're not really illusion because everything is happening, but they're illusory because of our false. This is actually the answer of, as far as I can see, of this. Of course, whether we can answer in this way depends who is asking the question, because sometimes these people are really very deeply in Maya. So listen. Well, that's what I can. That's my experience, especially on book distribution. When you meet this, sometimes you waste time. Better distribute books to somebody who is, like paramedics when they come to the scene and they see who is injured, and first of all they have to assess who has a chance, who stands a chance to live. Then they go to this person first because they have limited time and limited resources, and this is our situation also. It's an emergency, so we have to see who shows some hopes for to understand something and to practice Krishna consciousness. Okay, thank you. So, yes, Hare Krishna. Something else? Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada.